What do you do when even South Park stops pretending you're the hero?
Dude, Kenny, enough about Tammy's knockers. You sound like a white male trying to reestablish the patriarchy.
Eric, it's okay.
It's okay. Mom, I had a dream that I was replaced by a diverse woman. It wasn't just me. They were taking all my favorite people and replacing them with diverse women complaining about the patriarchy.
When I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her. And I can only hope that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
I think it's fair to say that no one can stand the star of this movie.
Rachel Zegler is extraordinarily woke, but she's woke in a way that's quite deranged. I truly do believe that.
Excuse me, your curtain. Please allow me to help.
Help? From you?
I didn't mean to offend. I just thought you should know that
That I should know what? That some privileged white guy thinks his opinion matters? Get over your entitlement. I'm not some damsel in distress waiting for you to ride in on your high horse.
And Disney decided to hire the most insufferable girl boss narcissist that exists on Earth, who hates Snow White, to play Snow White.
Who is so truly, and I'll say this word, even though it's cringe to say toxic, and I mean that in terms of she was cancerous. She was toxic to anybody that may have been interested in this. As soon as you heard her talk about herself or this movie, you were no longer interested.
And if you disagree with this sentiment, just hit the unfollow button. I don't need your business.
This is someone who is as entitled as, I don't need your business. You know what? Maybe Disney does. Maybe you're a tool, you're a pawn in this film. You didn't write it, you didn't direct it, you have nothing to do with the creation of Snow White. Right. You should shut up and do the job.
They're remaking the movie, they just got rid of the dwarves, okay?
Okay, but what do they call them?
Why would they get rid of the dwarves, though?
Magical creatures.
But they have one token dwarf amongst these magical creatures. You actually just went backwards. You actually just erased the dwarfism side of it. The disability, like we're a disability group, you just erased that whole image. The argument should have been from Peter Dinklage, there's power of being on TV, there's power of television, and to put 7 people with dwarfism on camera in a major Disney movie, there's still power there. If the story is offensive, change the story, don't change the characters.
This is no ordinary apple, my dear. It's a magic wishing apple. A wishing apple? You offer it to me freely. In place of the patriarchy, you would have a queen! Not white, but diverse, inclusive, and equitable! I will become the leader I know I can be! All shall love me and despair!
Oh, what has she done to you? Fear not, first love's kiss can break any curse.
There's something wrong with her. She's disturbed, she's unhappy, and she thinks it's about feminism and the patriarchy and about abortion. But the reality is she's just not stable, like the majority of people in Hollywood. They're just not.
But you cannot deny that Rachel Zegler, immediately upon her casting, the first time she came out there and shat all over the original, told everyone how this was going to be a different Snow White and a modernized version of Snow White and all this bullshit. These are all things that completely and totally damaged, irreversibly damaged Snow White before it even had a chance at the box office.
Stable.
This is Rachel Zegler, who Disney decided would be brilliant in casting because, as Rachel Zegler says, her millions of fans will line up no matter what she does to see her.
I am walking into Snow White, 2 p.m., now seating. Let's see how empty it is. I hope it's off the woke we go. I hope. Sound like I hear a couple of people. One, 2. Okay. 2.
There's videos like this, thousands of them all across the internet, of 0 tickets being sold for Snow White. Here's another.
It sounds like you're one of the only ones there, just like Rachel Zegler, as it turns out, and we part with this video of Rachel Zegler alone in a theater watching herself. One of the most unlikable humans.
That
ever.
is sadder than when the original Snow White eats the apple.
Welcome back to Celebrity. It's Olivia here. Rachel Zegler just got hit with the kind of cultural takedown you can't PR spin your way out of. Forget bad reviews, forget box office flops. This is worse. Because once South Park turns you into a recurring punchline, the damage isn't just trending on Twitter, it's immortal. And guess what? They're not done with her yet. After mocking her once in their savage parody, Snow woke the Reimagining. The creators of South Park are back, and this time, it's personal. They're doubling down on the chaos that's followed Rachel Zegler since she declared war on the original Snow White, the fans, and apparently, fairy tales themselves. But here's the thing. This isn't just a roast. This is a career obituary dressed in cartoon form. So how did the girl once called Hollywood's future become the face of one of Disney's biggest disasters? And now the centerpiece of late-night animated ridicule. It started with arrogance, it spiraled with interviews, and it exploded the second Rachel forgot the one golden rule of the entertainment industry. Don't punch down on the audience, because one day, they might start punching back.
That audiences walk away from this film with an understanding of the true meaning of fairness, of what it means to be fair in this world. There is a message that's been carried on for almost 90 years now from the original animated classic. That is, fairness is what is within. Fairness is to do with your heart, the way you treat the people around you, and it has nothing to do with what you look like, and that's the misunderstanding between Snow White and the evil queen. I think it's such an important message, and the way that Disney has elevated it and brought it to this new audience is very special.
It was supposed to be a dream. Rachel Zegler was handpicked by Steven Spielberg, led the charge in West Side Story, and was hailed as the new face of Disney royalty with the upcoming Snow White remake. Every red carpet, every interview, every headline, she was the chosen one. But here's what no one saw coming. She didn't just step into the spotlight. She stepped on the legacy. In what can only be described as a masterclass in self-destruction, Rachel started tearing down the very film she was hired to lead, mocking the prince, dismissing the original storyline, laughing off true love as outdated and problematic. Her message? This wasn't your grandma's Snow White, and she wasn't interested in preserving it. And that's when the tide turned. Because the audience she thought she was educating, they were listening, and they were pissed. Clips of her interviews went viral, for all the wrong reasons. TikTok turned her press tour into a meme. YouTubers churned out hour-long breakdowns. Twitter turned icy. She wasn't just polarizing, she was becoming unwatchable. Meanwhile, Disney, who had invested millions into this reimagined Snow White, was now dealing with a PR nightmare. The lead actress was trashing the film. The fandom was in open rebellion, and the narrative was spinning out of their control. And just when things couldn't get worse, South Park sharpened their knives.
There's something in our house. Let's put a pickaxe in its brain. You're in marketing. Why do you even bring an axe? If you were in marketing, you'd know.
Maybe she's been placed under some kind of a curse.
And all that will wake her is the kiss of a handsome...
I'm awake already!
Who are you? Care for an apple? Okay, I'll take a green one.
No, take the red one. Uh-oh. You'll never take me alive!
Ooh, I'm so scared.
Box office numbers. The Minecraft movie made $60 million on Saturday. Snow White made $2 million. Saying that audiences will always line up to see her no matter what she does.
Every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
You know what's interesting about all of this is that the only person waiting in line to see Snow White was Rachel Zegler.
When I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her. And I can only hope that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
You know your public image is beyond saving when South Park circles back for seconds. The first time they mocked Rachel Zegler in their viral special, Snow Woke the Reimagining. It was already a cultural earthquake. They dragged her mercilessly, painting her Snow White as a militant, ultra-woke, self-obsessed caricature who spent more time lecturing the audience than singing to woodland creatures. It hit hard, it went viral, and it should have been a wake-up call. But instead of stepping back, Rachel did what she does best, doubled down. She clapped back subtly in interviews, dropped a few cryptic posts, and, like clockwork, ended up right back in South Park's crosshairs. Only this time, they didn't hold back. In the latest episode, they took aim not just at her Snow White, but at her entire brand. The reimagined heroine gets a savage re-edit, complete with exaggerated eye rolls, endless virtue signaling, and, in true South Park fashion, a musical number about how brave I am for hating my own movie. It was brutal, it was hysterical, and it was devastatingly accurate. The real punch wasn't the jokes, it was the fact that so many people agreed. Fans, critics, even former defenders started posting clips saying, okay, maybe they have a point. Because here's the truth. When South Park mocks you once, it's funny. When they come back, it means you've become the punchline.
I know that you've told me before that your version of Snow White is different, and it's more of a 2022 version of Snow White. What did you mean by that?
I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Weird. So we didn't do that this time. That people will assume is a love story just because, like, we cast a guy in the movie, right. Andrew Burnap. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby. And we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
Rachel Zegler just keeps making things worse with the Walt Disney Company. The more that she tries to defend this movie, the more that she tries to spew her agenda onto the general public, it's only making matters worse, not just for Bob Iger, but for whatever is left of the image of Disney as a whole.
They've been in a full meltdown about this girl for a couple of years now, and how they had her tweet out like a little, yay, Snow White, can't wait, so excited, I love to play her. And she did it and got like millions of views, and they were like, good job, Rachel. And then she, like, minutes later followed it up with, and never forget, free Palestine.
And isn't her co-star Jewish?
Yes, Gal Gadot, whatever.
Gadot. I mean, what?
Yeah.
Wow.
They tried, they flew an executive, one of the producers, out to go visit personally with Rachel Zegler to say, could you please take that down? Because we understand you can have your political views, but those aren't really helpful while you're trying to build an audience for a movie. Maybe you could save them for like your diary and your friends, but like maybe not, maybe just take the tweet down. And she wouldn't.
Rachel is literally the star of a Disney movie, and she acts like she's some sort of victim. And that's the sort of mentality that is just poisoning people's minds. Like she acts like her.
And Rachel Zegler is officially that. The second that South Park episode dropped, the ripple effect was immediate. Fan forums exploded. Twitter, X lit up. TikTokers stitched it into mock trailers and parody edits faster than Disney could blink. The hashtags, Snow Woke, Rachel Zegler canceled. And the most chilling one? Not my Snow White. But this time, it wasn't just meme culture. It was movement. People weren't just laughing anymore. They were angry, fed up, betrayed. The once loyal Disney fan base, moms, dads, millennials raised on magic, started calling for a boycott. Not of South Park, not of Rachel, but of Disney. The sentiment? Clear as glass slippers. You gave her this role. You enabled this. You trashed our childhood for clout. And Disney? Silent. No statement, no defense, no support. Internally, sources say the Mouse House is in full damage control mode. Executives are allegedly distancing the Snow White brand from Zegler. Her face is being minimized on upcoming promo materials. Rumors are even swirling that they're considering a quiet recast for merchandise and spin-offs.
And Rachel? Her team is in panic mode. Interviews are being pulled, appearances postponed, sponsors going cold. One PR insider told a gossip outlet, "There's no playbook for this. We're not dealing with a scandal. We're dealing with cultural rejection." That's a whole different level of crisis. Zegler's brand, once seen as progressive and empowering, has now become a red flag. Directors are hesitant. Casting talks are stalling. Because let's be honest, what studio wants their next project South Parked into oblivion?
I just want to tell you guys about a little incredible movie that just came out, Snow White. Wow.
I just gotta tell you, best movie I've seen in years, and there have been some really, really good films lately. Madam Web, Rebel Moon Part 1, that movie, that transgender one with the Mexican drug lord. But Snow White blows them all away. Chat, this movie has everything. Horrifying CGI, little people, check. A feminist princess who don't need no man, double check. Diddy dance party at the end, double diddy check. All this to say, go see Snow White right now. The new one. Not that old stupid one where the princess gets saved by some good, upstanding guy.
When the heat gets unbearable in Hollywood, what do? You run. And Rachel Zegler didn't just take a break, she fled. Jetting off to Dubai, she left the headlines, the hashtags, and the howling backlash behind in what insiders are calling a strategic image detox. But let's be honest, it's not a vacation, it's a calculated escape. Why Dubai? Because it's everything the US isn't right now. For her, no aggressive paparazzi, no TMZ stakeouts, no South Park reruns haunting Times Square billboards, just 5-star hotels, PR-safe influencer events, and the illusion that everything's still fine. Except, it's not. While Rachel's posting soft-lit selfies and vague captions about growth and energy, the public isn't buying it. The comments are filled with questions. You gonna apologize? Are you still proud of Snow White? What's it like being a meme? And behind the curated Instagram filters, her silence is screaming. She hasn't addressed the South Park backlash. She hasn't acknowledged the boycott. She hasn't even mentioned Disney. But that's the move, right? Silence is the new PR tactic. Because saying anything at this point would be like throwing gasoline on an already viral wildfire. So instead, Rachel's team is banking on time and distance to soften the narrative. Maybe if they wait long enough, someone else will become the internet's next target. But the truth? No influencer retreat or vision board session in Dubai is going to fix this. Because this isn't just a PR crisis. It's a trust collapse. The audience doesn't see Rachel as misunderstood anymore. They see her as arrogant, out of touch, and worst of all, ungrateful.
What would you say to those who are just kind of overly critiquing the film at this point? You've worked so hard on it.
I'm getting on across. Hold on. Here. Yeah, hold on.
All right.
The producers, far left-wing activists in Hollywood, are turning on her, and Disney has canceled all of Rachel Zegler's appearances on their media platforms. Kind of tough.
Here it is, the part no publicist ever wants to hear. The question that starts behind closed doors in studio meetings and slowly leaks out into the press, the casting rooms, the production circles. Is Rachel Zegler worth the risk? Because here's the brutal reality. In Hollywood, talent only gets you so far. The rest? It's optics. It's brand alignment. It's whether or not audiences are willing to buy a ticket with your face on it. And right now, Rachel's face isn't selling anything. She's not just polarizing, she's become a symbol, not of empowerment, not of progress, but of corporate failure and cultural disconnect. Every time Disney tries to push Snow White, the audience pushes back harder. Every time Rachel trends, it's not for a role, it's for a roast. Her name has become a warning sign, and execs are paying attention. Behind the scenes, casting decisions are shifting. Productions that once had her in final talks are pulling back. Sponsors are holding on to their cash. PR teams are drafting what-if damage plans before she even steps into the room. She's radioactive. Not because she made a mistake, but because she kept making them. The arrogance, the mockery, the total inability to read the room. And now, South Park sealed it. Because once you're animated into pop culture parody hell, it's no longer just your haters who are laughing, it's everyone. The question now isn't, can Rachel recover? It's, does anyone want her to? So what do you think? Was this downfall inevitable, or could someone have saved it? Should Disney pull the plug on Snow White entirely? Or is Rachel's fairy tale rewrite finally hitting its last grim page?